All right, thanks. And big thanks for Digital Biscuit having me here. I'm glad to be here. I put my own nerdy. They made better title to my speech. Yeah, so I'm really honored to be here. I've seen some great presentations here, and but I need to make a disclaimer. I come from Northern Europe, so this is kind of low-key talk. If I say okay, it means really great, and if I say not okay, it really sucks. So that's the only thing you need to know. How many of you are involved with animation? Okay, that's cool. Quite many of you. And for the rest of you, there's one video clip that has a dirty joke, so you can also like hang on there. Okay, so quickly about my company and me. We were founded 2000 in Helsinki, Finland, and yeah, we were art school students, and we kind of animation interest in Finland at that time wasn't really there, so we kind of thought that, okay, damn, nobody's going to employ us, so we need to find a studio. And we get kind of lucky. We made 4 feature films and some TV series, 7 kind of TV films, and the first kind of international breakthrough, if you want to say, was Nico and the Way to the Stars. And it was sold over to 100 countries, and it still has quite a lot of kind of visibility because it's shown in CBS still, and it was one of the kind of biggest Thanksgiving hits in CBS. So it's yeah, and we found a couple of years ago studio to Kuala Lumpur, and here are the films. The Nico ones on the wait, I need to see screen right. Here they are kind of our own productions, and I have been producing them, and we had an Irish co-producer, and that was okay. And on the left-hand side, the second from the left was a co-production with Italians. That was not okay. I directed that one, and the last one I worked as an animation director. So I kind of have a strong passion and love to animation, and since I started, I kind of been thinking the ways to think how you can make animation better. Like there are lots of tools that can be used, and many tools that haven't even been invented, and also methods. So we started quite much with commercials, which is quite usual story for an animation studio in Europe. But in those, you don't really kind of, they are brief, you don't have time to develop anything with commercials. But that is not so with the TV series, because most of the stuff that we did was for the Finnish national broadcaster. So you can imagine that the budget is like this, and you somehow need to find ways to bring quality to those, and there, by doing smart choices and making some R&D and that kind of stuff, it really pays off. We done one bigger TV series, the Angry Birds Stella last year, and that was a bigger production than the other ones that we have been doing. And of course, now we're developing the FLEEK series, which I tell you later about, and we are doing that with the glove technique that I'm going to kind of walk you through now. So briefly about R&D. So our kind of first thing was lip sync, which kind of helped us to make our first shows really efficiently. Also, we've been kind of coding our own fur rendering system, which enabled us to make the Nico films to be rendered with maybe 30 render nodes, which is kind of amazingly small amount if you compare to many other films. And still, if you look how the film and the fur looks in the films, you couldn't tell that it's done with such a small resources. And we also been doing some animation and layout tools. because we started our develop this kind of sequence-based pipeline, which means that every kind of shot is not just a work file, but you kind of have sequences of things. And nowadays it's quite common and there are tools, but the year 2000 when we started, nobody else was doing that at that time, so we need to kind of do that stuff ourselves. And our latest thing is the glove animation thing, which I'm going to introduce you now. But it kind of also started with the first one, which is the lip sync. There were kind of commercial lip sync software available, but in order to kind of make the pipeline really efficient, to integrate the software to our pipeline, it was much better to do our own, because we kind of could make a system with the naming conventions where we could actually prepare the files for the animators, so when they started, the lip sync software had actually gathered all the character assets to a scene, and they were already talking. So animators started from there, and that saved a lot of time. But I think the quality problems were there because this kind of sound detection, the consonants are really hard to detect from human speech. So it kind of lead to the bad rhythm in the kind of lip sync, and that's not okay. So here's a picture of our software tool, lip sync tool, and well, in the bottom you see the sound curve, you might notice that, and then the kind of analyze of the curves, what kind of stuff it has found there. But this is kind of capture, kind of, this is not anything like animation. This is more like motion capture, which is kind of just calculating something done by humans, which is actually not what I love in animation. So animation is kind of somebody's trying to give his own kind of, or her simplified version of a movement. So we wanted to kind of have another take to lip sync device that we could use. And that was our first goal when we started to do the glove thing, because our idea was to make the kind of talking movement with your hand, like a puppet, and then combine lip sync soft data to that. And we kind of figured that, okay, if kind of nice, kind of this kind of thing works for Muppets, why couldn't it work for us as well? So the prototype one was called Hanska. That's Finnish means a glove. And we just hacked something together with a bend sensor and a rotational sensor. So in internet, there's lots of kind of this kind of sensor stuff, which is not really expensive. From $50 to $100, you can find really stuff that you can work with. So this is how the prototype looks. You can see that we have some look problems. The design is not very good with the, but you can see the bend sensor there and 2D rotational sensor is inside the lower block. And yeah, this is, we kind of connected to Maya with the Maya Smoke-Up API. And yeah, when we got all that set up, we had the tool, we had a connection from that tool to the computer. We could start to test with animators how they would want to use the tool. And we did a rhythmic test and lip sync test and an acting test, and feedback was really positive. And we kind of already in that test we wanted to try if it could be used for something else than lip sync as well. And I'm showing you a video of this testing period some time ago. So you can see the wonderful character design there. it's going a bit crazy. But even from here, you may see the kind of small latence when somebody is moving a hand and come on. There is some noise and latence. You could see from some of the clips that when animator can kind of move the hand, the character was kind of a bit lagging, and that was because of noise and some other stuff. So, but what we learned then that working with this way was kind of really fun, and I think that was the most important thing that drive us to develop this more. The immediate feedback from the character as a puppet was kind of really rewarding. And for some people, it was more like playing with a toy than actually kind of being in your cave for years and tweaking your keyframes. So it was kind of therapeutic thing as well for many animators. And also, like some people quite quickly picked up to make nice arcs and kind of accelerations with their hand, which was kind of created its own kind of unique look to the movement. So yeah, we kind of thought that, okay, you can do real production with this, so, and go for the kind of puppeteering system, digital one, with more degrees of freedom and low latency and minimal noise. And this latency thing was that I kind of referred to, that you really need to, the character need to follow exactly what you're doing, because then otherwise you kind of lose the connection with you and the character. And the noise is kind of a self-evident thing. If it's kind of wobbling and shaking, it's not good. So this is the device we chose for the production, and it's called Polhemus Patriot. I don't know if you say it like that. Yeah, but anyway, the main thing with that was it didn't have any latency or really low latency, and not too much noise. And it wasn't too expensive. Well, it's kind of a relative thing, too expensive, because it was 2,500 euros, but for one workstation. So you don't want to just for fun to buy that, but you know, for if you do a long TV series, it will pay back the money. So I kind of show you the what I'm talking about with latency. So here you can see the two sensors are there in Olli's hand, and it's really well kind of following the movement, like right away. There is no latency, there is no noise, or not a kind of noise that you could see. And it rotates, it doesn't flip, and it doesn't mix the sensors together. There were many reasons we wanted to do with this kind of technology instead of motion capture or something like that. I can talk to you about that some other time, or you can ask me if you're interested on such a technical things. But yeah, and the design didn't get any better. Still the same foam design, but yeah, we actually then got a chance to test this in production. We had a TV series in development called Daily Ape Show, and we got in Shanghai World Expo, we got a chance to do a series of kind of short animation films with the puppet technique. So we needed to simplify the characters quite a lot to make them kind of puppet friendly, if you like. And the schedule also was kind of long, so we knew that if we fail to do with a puppet, we can go back and kind of keyframe animate it anyways. So I show you now what kind of results we had.
Shanghai World Expo 2010, the Daily Ape Show Special!
Female president. Equality is very important in Finland. A lot of countries don't have equality, but Finland is actually one of the most equal countries in the world. We have a female president. and-
Hello from Sweden, you friendly neighbors over there in Finland. Did you know that we in Sweden have a king and a queen? Our queen Silvia is a female too.
Fabulous.
Yes, she is.
Look, I'm talking about women's rights, that they're equal to men on all levels. Finland is a good country to be a woman in.
Yes, but Sweden is a good country to be Swedish in. In Sweden, we have Volvo and meatballs. Can you say, Swedish meatballs?
Swedish meatballs. I don't care. I'm talking about something completely different. Look, why don't you have a banana?
Oh, a banana. I like bananas. They're yellow like the Swedish flag.
Whatever. If you're bananas, visit Sweden. If you're serious about equality, ask me about Finland.
Do you grow bananas in Finland?
Finland.
No.
Equality is close to our heart.
And Sweden.
Yeah, so it was just mocking Swedish, basically. And we don't grow bananas in Finland. So I think we kind of get, by these films, the Finnish national broadcaster started to believe on this one so much that we get it kind of aired in prime time. But the schedule and the budget was again tight, so we needed to simplify the characters even more. So we kind of took even one more step in simplification of the characters. Here's a quick demo, actually, how the glow is connected to the rig. So here you see the. So it's kind of full body IK-ish thing where you kind of with the head controls everything in the character. So if you move the puppet head, the character is doing, and you can also add kind of a secondary movement to hands and all that. And also you control the mouth, and you have other set of controls where you can control the facial expressions. So yeah, this is how a character looks, and how we did the show. And here's just an example that actually for us it's quite easy to control any character. These are some other random characters from some other projects that we were doing when this was made this video. So it kind of was easy to implement the same kind of idea and technique to these other characters as well. And other tools, I need to mention jog wheel, which is commonly used by the editors, because when you have the glove in the other hand, you need some other technique to control time. And controlling time is essential for animation, because I think that's the main tool of animator, how the character is connected to time and poses. So a jog wheel is really good interface, physical interface for this, because you can go faster, you can go frame by frame, you can go to the beginning, and in the end, you can record, you can stop. And we also were able to put some basic animation layer controls as hotkeys to this jog wheel. So it was really efficient when you had jog wheel on the other hand and the glow in the other hand. So, and I would say that this jog wheel actually would be a good tool for any animation production if you want to use it. Yeah, and a new glow project is this FLEEK concept. It's a small synthetic bug from the other dimension. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. But it kind of was born when I was playing with my boys with my hand. And it kind of was a bug who, if somebody was in bad mood, this bug came and made him happy, or my boys happy. Or if my boys tried to do something and they couldn't, this FLEEK came and tried to do that as well, and get totally pissed off if he didn't, and started to rage and jump. And the boys started to sympathize this bug and wanted to help, like, okay, FLEEK, come on, you can do it. And then I kind of thought, okay, there's a nice character actually here, and a nice story of learning something new, and kind of, so And also because it was kind of this kind of hand-driven thing from the beginning, I think it made a nice hand-animated or glove-animated project. But we also needed to think, could we utilize this glove technique even better? So we tested animating limbs with the glove, which we didn't in the Daily Ape thing. And we wanted also to streamline the workflow, combining keyframe animation and also making expanding the content creation, that we can have a FLEEK, creating material for FLEEK in the fast way also, not maybe only for the TV series, but nowadays you need lots of kind of net content and that kind of stuff. And one goal is to also add dynamics and collisions to make the model act like a real puppet. And I show you some small clips. Yeah, okay. I think like we still have lots of work to do. We ended up spending quite a lot of time like with the making the keyframe animation and the glove animation work together. And also we need to revisit the character design, because that character, we need to reduce the amount of limbs. The character kind of should look like you could just put the hand inside it and kind of act with it. So I think we have lots of work to do with FLEEK and how the glove is used, but we're on our way. Thanks for listening. My main message was that glove animation is okay. And I think it will be even better in future. If we can't make it, I'm sure somebody else will pick it up and will develop that. Because when you make animated series, of course the story and the characters are the most important thing, but still having good tools to move them is really essential as well. Thank you.